The final weekend of action in the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship, and we're at a very wet and muddy Croft. It's a double-header weekend, which means 2 rounds, one Saturday, one on Sunday. It's going to be action all the way. Last time out it was dry at Pembrey, and it was another chapter in the story of the title outcome between Derek Tohill and Julian Godfrey. This time it was Derek Tohill who triumphed, and the Irishman comes here just 2 points back. Julian Godfrey with his 2-point advantage in the championship. Derek Tohill is really the only man that can stop him. Steve Hill, best of the rest, he's third.
Steve, a properly wet weekend here at Croft Circuit, but you've got a lot of rally experience, haven't you, on top of your rallycross career so far? Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I quite enjoy changeable conditions, and especially when it's wet like this, it's quite good fun. Not great for the marshals and everybody else really, but as a driver it's not a big problem. It's a job to stop for that first corner. There's water running across the track, so there will be a few going the gravel track without a doubt, and for Q1 just do the best we can. Why not?
Bit of panic there this morning, car wouldn't start, was new set of plugs and she fired up, so we got out at the very end of practice, but it's going to be a tough weekend. It's kind of the reverse of Dakar or the Sahara out there. Yeah, it's that wet and muddy, so we'll just enjoy it, enjoy the driving, enjoy the wet weather, and yeah, see what happens.
Q1 on a very wet road then, about to get underway as the lights go green. Tony Bardi makes the best start, driving Ollie O'Donovan's Ford Focus, and Julian Godfrey almost tiptoes away from the line, being ultra cautious on the way down towards Clervaux Corner. You can see the standing water across the road now. Tony Bardi, local hero, veteran of Rallycross, he leads the way. He's not got anything to lose, no points to gain as far as the championship is concerned. He is just here to enjoy himself and see how well it can get on. What he could do is take points away from the others. Godfrey up to second, and then Steve Mundy in his Fiesta third. You can see how treacherous the tarmac is now across the loose, and this is very muddy, very slippery indeed. For the last time then, it is Tony Bardi on the run up towards the checkered flag. Now how is he going to get on in terms of a time here? He's dominated the race, almost lapping Steve Mundy as he comes up towards the flag. Tony Bardi wins race 1 of the day. The second race in Q1 is go. Good start made by Steve Hill from the front row, blasts away down towards Clervaux. Looking back from Derek Tohill's Ford then as he dives through the traffic. He's gained 1, 2, now 3 places. He's gone from the back to the front, and he gets the car slowed down in time as well, so he makes it safely around turn 1. And Derek Tohill is on a mission now to try and not only outpace Steve Hill to win the race, but also go quicker than Tony Bardi did in the first race within Q1. Out of the chicane then, onto the loose. They pendulum their way now across this ever so slippery section of the circuit. Tohill, race leader, up through the gears. Steve Hill right there behind him. Hill in the Mitsubishi finds a gap, breathes in, squeezes through, and that is a bold move, and it works for him. Steve Hill goes through, and as he gets the race lead, throws all of that mud into the face of Derek Tohill. Visibility all but disappears. Simon Horton in the Subaru does likewise to Andy Grant. He gets up into 3rd place now. And Derek Tohill is really struggling because he's lost the lead. He went wide, so he was in the even more slippery and boggy part of the circuit, and visibility is pretty limited. So this now brown Fiesta down in 2nd spot as he works his way up through Hawthorne. Andy Grant's in strife in the Focus as well. And there is Derek Tohill on the tarmac, but Steve Hill has absolutely checked out up front. He has got a monster advantage, and Steve Hill using all of that rallying experience to good effect. When you are in the lead, visibility completely different, as you saw on board there. Andy Grant gets going again. Derek Tohill with the wiper, working overtime, chases on behind. That's Andy Grant. He's a long way back now from Simon Horton. And Steve Hill slithers his way over the timing line, fighting for traction. He has got the visibility, and Steve Hill right now is looking really strong here. Nobody would begrudge him a race win. Nobody would begrudge him a final win. He's yet to score one of those in the Mitsubishi, despite being a stalwart in the championship for many seasons now. Finals this year only won by Julian Godfrey or Derek Tohill. So for variety's sake, can Steve Hill get up there? He's on the loose. Up through the gear, fighting for traction. Simon Horton there in the Subaru, going nicely in these conditions, it must be said. into the chicane now, through that right and left, onto the loose, on the back part of the circuit. And there is Steve Hill trying to work out where the grip levels are. Every lap, the puddles get bigger as the rain falls. Strip of tarmac, turn into the hairpin, gently with the throttle, back on the power, and now sprint up towards the line. Onto the last lap he goes. Now, Hill's next task, bearing in mind he's sorted out the opposition good and proper, is to go quicker than Tony Bardi did. And right now, it looks as though he is going to go fastest in Q1. Through Hawthorne, big puddle, big aquaplaning moment there that pitches the car out wide. But Steve Hill recovers from that and now dives into the chicane once more. Yellow flag waving up the road as well, just a warning of dramas for others. There is Derek Tohill struggling on here. So having lost the lead, never likely, seemingly in terms of pure pace, to get back onto terms with Hill. We've lost Andy Grant again, he's parked it. So it is Hill from Tohill, and then Simon Horton in third place. And you get the feeling that all is not well with Derek Tohill's car, and that's more than just visibility. Steve Hill then is on target for a race win, looking at the clock as well. He should go quicker than Tony Bardi here, and he does as he takes the flag. So Steve Hill fastest in Q1. Derek Tohill struggles over the line second. Steve Hill it is then, fastest in Q1 ahead of Tony Bardi and Julian Godfrey. Derek Tohill only fourth ahead of Simon Horton and Steve Mundy.
Fastest time in Q1, a fantastic performance.
Yeah, it's honest. It's just like a Welsh stage after they've been logging for about 6 months. Very deep mud and quite difficult, but it's experience of driving those stages that helps me. Aquaplaning quite badly on the break into the first corner and on the second corner, so we just have to wait for the wheels to start turning again, and then hope we've got enough time to brake, but it's working okay.
Q2 about to get underway. Good start by Andy Grant from the outside of the front row of the grid for this first race within Q2, and he outpaces Simon Horton and Steve Mundy on the way down towards turn 1. So the venerable ex-Will Gollop Ford Focus leads, and Simon Horton gets it all wrong. It goes one way, it goes the other, and then it goes around. That means up into second place is Steve Mundy. Andy Grant leads the pack as they head up towards the chicane. Steve Mundy again fighting for control, and there Simon Horton, go hard or go home. He's trying to get going, never mind go anywhere else. Up towards the checkered flag, it's going to be a race win for Andy Grant. Real visibility problem stopped him in his tracks in the first race of the day. This, at least by being out front, means he can see things and the car's not fogging up either. Checkered flag at the ready. It's not going to be the quickest of times, but it is going to be a race win for Andy Grant. Steve Hill, Julian Godfrey, Tony Bardi on the grid. No Derek Tohill. He's got a clutch drama, we understand, and Steve Hill blasts away down towards the first corner at Clairvaux. Who is going to be the last of the late breakers? Godfrey all sideways as he hits a big puddle. Steve Hill launches up the inside of a sideways Bardi. Godfrey on the inside at turn 2 into Hawthorne. He goes second with his elbows out, so Bardi down to third. Tony Bardi then won his race early on in the day. Now he's in third spot as they go into the chicane. Steve Hill looking really good in these conditions. The former rallyman turned rallycrosser with 5 times British champion Julian Godfrey. By the end of the weekend, he could be 6 times a champion, right there behind him. Down they come then, heading into the hairpin at the bottom part of the lap, and Tony Bardi, whose career goes back to the late 70s, early 80s, clatters his way up on the inside of Julian Godfrey and picks up a place. Over the line he goes, sideways in the mud, wiper on, and Julian Godfrey down in that third place, getting an absolute faceful now. This is the problem. You see why it is so important to be out front, and if you try and run close to the car ahead, you can see nothing whatsoever. This is where you've got to have a good wiper washer system. Way out wide goes Bardi, onto the grass even, still fighting for control. Rallycross has certainly moved on since Tony started in the 2-wheel drive days, but he's always very, very adept in these cars. Home circuit, Rallycross driver and preparer extraordinaire. He's done a bit of circuit racing in his time as well in things like the Metro Turbo Challenge in the late 80s, and down he comes then now, running out wide. You see how boggy it is on the outside line, but actually he's bringing down the gap against Steve Hill here. Over the timing line they go. Now what can he do about the race leader? He's a little bit quicker looking at lap times. He's bringing down the gap. Trouble is, the closer he gets, the less he can see. Through Clairvaux, Steve Hill leads the way and should be quicker in this than Andy Grant was in the first race in Q2. Tony Bardi again way out wide, but he maintains the momentum, fires the car into the chicane now. Wriggles his way back towards the loose. So Steve Hill, Tony Bardi doing the winning thus far. Nothing to do with the championship, but there's pride at stake here. Steve Hill is on target for a race win. Hits a puddle, loads of muddy water showers the screen, and look how much quicker, how much closer Bardi is now. He runs out wide there. That's going to delay the exit across the timing line with one more lap to run. Here they come. Bardi dropped back a little bit, so visibility is better. Now, though, he's got to push on down towards Clairvaux. This, a very slippery part of the circuit. It's tarmac, so the feeling is there might be more grip, but the standing water to catch you out. And there as well on the inside at Hawthorne. And there again, another puddle. Bardi once more, way out wide. It's great to watch. Is it working for him? Let's see as he comes now through the chicane. Steve Hill on target for a race win. Is it going to be quicker than Andy Grant's race winning time from earlier on in this qualifying round? The answer seemingly is yes. Looking at lap times, piece it all together. Steve Hill, quickest in Q1, should be quickest in Q2 as well. Tony Bardi closes right up as they come down to the hairpin, but he picks up a tyre stack, drags it with him, throws it to one side, accelerates from the line. Steve Hill is the winner and fastest also in Q2. So Steve Hill it is, fastest in Q2 from Tony Bardi. Julian Godfrey a slightly subdued third ahead of Andy Grant, and then Steve Mundy fifth.
Mark, a welcome return to the British Rallycross Championship for you. You've always been a big supporter of your home circuit and the sport. Fantastic to have you back out, but a few problems in practice.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to it because, as you said, we've done nothing all year, and I had to come to Croft because, as you say, it's my local circuit and lots of people have come to support me. My sponsors, Menderhus and people like that, are all here to see us, and as you said, in practice, we've had a problem. And I didn't actually there was nothing wrong in practice itself. It's when I came into the wash bay, I lost the clutch and I just couldn't get into gear, and the way they parked me, I was stuck. I couldn't go forwards or backwards.
This car's vintage is unfair, but it's been around a while, hasn't it? And it has some quirks. It's quite difficult to change the clutch in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is old school. There's no two words about it. I mean, it's 20 years now the car's been running, but it's still a very, very competitive car. The unfortunate thing is, when they built those cars, everything was a lot different, and to get the clutch out, we think we might have to take the engine out because of where the bolts are really on the bell housing, because it is the clutch. There is a problem in the clutch. It's not slipping. The slave cylinder's moving the arm. It's just not disengaging the plates. So we'll just keep working at it. We're not going to give up yet. We've got 2 days, haven't we?
The supercar entry this weekend is boosted by Tony Bardi, and he's another local hero. He's also had a good start to the day.
Tony, welcome back to British Rallycross. You've been out for a while. We haven't seen you in a supercar for some time, but fantastic performance this morning. You've lost nothing.
Yeah, I think I was fairly lucky this morning. The track conditions were better, and I was enjoying that. It's good fun.
And you've had a go in the Ollie Diamonds Fiesta a couple of years ago. You've also been in the Focus. How do these cars compare to the cars you were racing at the start of your career some 3 decades ago now?
It's nearer 4 actually, but there you go. Obviously, much more refinement, power steering, more power, but the old days were good days, so I can't knock it.
And your objective for this afternoon, just keep going as you are?
Try and beat that Steve Hill guy, that would be good. Another old man.
Q3 on the grid. Steve Mundy takes on Simon Horton and Derek Tohill in this race. New clutch in the car for Derek Tohill. He launches off the line. Dare one say it's looking a little bit drier out there now, but Derek Tohill absolutely blasts down towards Clairvaux corner. So the Irishman, European champion, Irish champion, hits the front. Now, never mind the opposition, it's about the clock. He has got to try and be quickest in Q3, and Steve Mundy loses time at Clairvaux with that big slide. So Tohill leads the race. What can he do in terms of a race-winning time now? Wriggles his way through the chicane onto the loose section, the very muddy, very boggy part of the circuit. And there's talk of Croft not being a Rallycross venue after this season, which will be a real shame. So everybody wanting to have a good result at what could be its swan song event, Croft and Rallycross. It was really the Rallycross that kept the place alive in the late 1980s after circuit racing stopped. and it's been synonymous with the sport throughout its history. There is Simon Horton up towards the timing line, and it looks as though the Subaru driver is having to be best of the rest here. A little bit of trim loose at the back of the car as he comes over the line, but Derek Tohill is away and gone up front. Down they turn through the right at Clervaux, and Simon Horton, who was late into the championship this year with this reworked Subaru, gets really sideways, had a big spin in Q2 and didn't finish the race. Here saves the slide and does chase this man. The road is getting a little bit drier, a little bit kinder, although there Steve Manley finds a big puddle going up towards Hawthorne. Derek Tohill then accelerating his way across the loose. This time he's got the visibility, doesn't even need the wiper because there's nobody up the road spraying stuff into his face. He can concentrate on his own lines, his own race, as he heads now over the timing line. The Irish tricolour on the front of the car. The Irish driver, who's been a big hit, a really welcome addition to the championship this year, powers his way through Clervaux. He won at Lyddon, won at Pembrey, won at Pembrey again last time out. Julian Godfrey has also taken 3 victories out of the 6 rounds that we've had so far this doubleheader weekend. Let's see which way the pendulum swings in terms of most final victories come the end of the season. Right now, they're all pitching for grid positions, and Simon Horton does have a big slide, and this time he can't save it. Around he goes at Hawthorne. He came close to doing that earlier. This time it has gone around, and it means here Steve Manley with the Fiesta is going to be closer, maybe even ahead. Derek Tohill blasting his way here up towards the end of the lap. Is this going to be an easy race win for him? Well, not with a big slide like that. All of a sudden the back snaps away. He controls it, he corrects it, he goes across the line, but that will have cost a little bit of time, and it unsettles the car all the way down towards Clervaux. So the vastly experienced, hugely successful Irishman, desperately keen to be a British Rallycross champion by the end of the weekend. Goes now up towards the right-left into the chicane. Now in terms of the opposition, Derek Tohill with an easy run in all of this, but he can't afford to make mistakes. He has still got to be absolutely flat out. Second, Steve Manley, he has got ahead of Simon Horton. Derek Tohill, though, is on target for the race win, no question now. Through he comes, back onto the power, threads his way up towards the line, and Derek Tohill takes the checkered flag, an easy race win for him. Steve Manley keeping Simon Horton at bay as they battle their way to be second and third, and it's going to be the Fiesta just that takes the place. Simon Horton right there alongside at the end. The second race in Q3 then about to get underway. Derek Tohill's time, 3:25.4 is the time to beat now. Steve Hill, Tony Bardi, Julian Godfrey on the front row of the grid as the lights are about to blink to green. That will launch them away now. Bad start by Hill, good start by Bardi. He's done so little racing this year, but you wouldn't think it, would you? Tony Bardi blasts away into the lead, down towards turn 1, throws it into the right-hander, catches the slide and comes out ahead. Second is Julian Godfrey, and Steve Hill, fastest in Q1 and in Q2, is struggling right now, down in third place. Andy Grant, the man in fourth, and it's Tony Bardi, the race leader. One of his missions for the day, to beat Steve Hill. Well, he's ahead of him at the moment, and Hill comes up to challenge Godfrey. This is Hill's view. Wipers working overtime. Can't find a way alongside, has to slot back in, and that means visibility worsens again. Bardi up towards the end of lap 1, drifts out wide. Godfrey second, and Steve Hill right there on his tail now, powering his way up towards the timing line, and you can see how unpleasant it is when you get close to a car. It's not just muddy water, it's all the shale that gets thrown onto the windscreen, and that's even harder to shift, so your pace is affected. You have to drop back a little bit while the screen clears. In years gone by, of course, drivers used to have little holes cut in the windscreen so that the mud would never stick and they had at least something to peer through. Right now it's a state-of-the-art washer system, which is great when it stays reliable. Tony Bardi leads, Andy Grant in his Focus at the back of the pack, the older shape Focus, but the Ollie O'Donovan-owned car leads the way. There is Julian Godfrey, Silverstone winner, Pembrey winner, Lyddon winner this year, championship leader as well, don't forget. Pendulums his way out of that final right, that little strip of tarmac, just to give you a little bit more traction, and he's bringing down the gap against Tony Bardi here. Over the timing line, rear wheels skip into the air as Bardi blasts through, back onto tarmac. Through turn one at Clairvaux Corner goes the local hero, Rallycross veteran. And Tony Bardi is doing a really good job here. He's another of those drivers that you wish you saw more often. Another driver missing, local to the circuit, Kevin Proctor. It's a shame we've not had him on the grid this year. So there are drivers, there are cars out there for the supercar class that would be great to have more regularly on the grid. There, Andy Grant, who, as ever, has been a stalwart of the championship this year. Much travel, the Devonian garage owner, and he's at the back of the pack here as Julian Godfrey battles on, closing again onto the tail of Tony Bardi. But as long as Bardi doesn't make a mistake, he's going to be very hard to dislodge from that race lead as he goes onto the last lap now. From his early days in minis to a four-wheel drive, 2-litre turbocharged Ford Focus supercar, Tony Bardi has been there and seen Rallycross evolve. Finds the standing water on the inside of the run-up towards Hawthorne. Earlier on in the day, he was really firing the car way out wide at Hawthorne. It's a little bit more under control this time, a different line, a different approach through that right-hander up to the chicane. Steve Hill falling back in third place. So is this a problem? Because the pace that he evinced in Q1 and Q2, not there in this final qualifying run for him. Tony Bardi accelerating his way now up towards the checkered flag. And this has been a mighty drive. Through he goes. Tony Bardi it is that wins and is quicker than Derek Tohill. A 3:23.106. Tony Bardi just pipped Derek Tohill then in Q3. Julian Godfrey third from Steve Hill, Andy Grant and Steve Mundy rounding out the top six. So now the team's hard at work, ready for the final.
Julian, it's a bit muddy on the circuit. You've got quite a bit of mud on you too. Been hard at work?
Yeah, I've been hard at work. Got a few missiles with the car. It's not really behaving itself. Just been trying to sort that out. And the car, on the first heat, it was really bad. Aquaplaning on the mud. And we just lift the car up a little bit to try and get a bit more clearance to stop it aquaplaning so much. And it's only better in Q2, but still got the missiles. So just really trying to sort that missile now and feeling that. But really just trying to stay out of trouble. A little bit of fighting with Tony, but unfortunately, because there's not many competitors here today in the supercar class, then it's not really hurting Derek too much. So as long as you get out for the third heat, and at least he'll be on in the final, and he's also got a bit more work to do from the back of the grid. But it's so wet out there now that anything could change.
Andy, you missed the first round of the year, but you've been with us in the British Rallycross Championship ever since. You just missed out on the final last time out at Pembrey. You couldn't get the gearbox changed quite in time, but how's it going today so far at Croft?
Well, obviously it's very wet here. Practice is okay, but first heat the car just went off in the field a bit, and the water come in the car and it just steamed out. I couldn't see a damn thing. But second heat, I won my race, so quite pleased with that. It was okay. And
it's a double header this weekend, 2 days consecutively. Is that in the back of your mind, or do you not worry yourself about it?
There's a whole focus in the back of my van, so as long as it survives the final today, we'll be there tomorrow for another fight.
Good to have you here, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
As ever, in the Toyo Tyres Motorsport UK British Rallycross Championship, the juniors have given plenty of action during qualifying for this penultimate round, with Luke Constantine the man to beat ahead of Ben Sayer and James Constantine third. The grid for the final then is lined up and good to go. Luke Constantine, Ben Sayer, and then cousin James Constantine on the front row. Robert Vithols and newcomer Harry Garman share row 2. Ahead of Tom Ovenden, Alfie Porter and Patrick O'Donovan, who has struggled in qualifying. The lights go green. O'Donovan in the yellow car will be one to watch, that is for sure. You're on board with him now. Down they run towards Clairvaux Corner. O'Donovan, winner at Lyddon in August. Round the outside, hoping there's going to be not only visibility but a bit of traction there. But look, he's got past 3, almost 4 already. Ben Sayer hits the front and way out wide goes in second place Luke Constantine. It's Robert Vithols up to third. Patrick O'Donovan goes fourth, and that might be third. It is third on the inside line. That was bold, and that means that dropping back is James Constantine, who was fifth, and he's now fourth just as they come through the chicane. Gets turned around though by Vithols. Big slide. Can he save it? just about. Tom Ovenden now tries to find a way through the traffic and through the mud. These very challenging conditions for everybody, especially the juniors, as they come up towards the end of lap 1. The further through the day you go, the more that loose infield section cuts up, and Ben Sayer, with loads of understeer, scrabbles off the road and gift wraps the place to Patrick O'Donovan. O'Donovan goes through, Sayer struggling for momentum, loses another place to James Constantine and gets in the way of others. Now it's Tom Ovenden who loses pace and everybody comes slithering past him. In these underpowered Suzuki Swifts, as soon as you go off the road where it is wetter and more boggy, or you have to lift off for somebody having a moment, you are in real strife. So the leaders go through, and it is Luke Constantine leading the way. Harry Garman going through, new to the Junior Championship. Roberts Vitols accelerates through. And there you can see the recovering Ben Sayer. So now he's got himself onto the back of James Constantine. What can he do here as they come down towards the tight right? It's almost a hairpin, this corner, because it loops you round that gradual left up to the timing line, and Sayer not able to dive up the inside. Roberts Vitols, who dominated the Pembrey doubleheader in late May, right there as well. And here they come now towards the line once again. While they're squabbling, of course, the race leaders are getting away. Ben Sayer, winner at Pembrey last time out, ruining that mistake he made. Now there is the race leader, Luke Constantine, up front and trying to scarper into the distance, but a really good run by Patrick O'Donovan from last on the grid up into second place. The battle pack for third goes through James Constantine, Ben Sayer, Roberts Vitols et al. Harry Garman adapting well, isn't he, to new track, new car, horrible conditions, suggesting if he stays on for another season he's going to be well worth watching. Ben Sayer now makes his move. Rubs up alongside Constantine here. This for third place. Can Ben Sayer get his nose in front? Yes, he can, but he's on the outside line. It's the longer line, it's the slower line. He's going to have to give way, surely, as they come now down towards the hairpin. He's on the outside. He's going to get forced out wide and back up the inside to retake third goes James Constantine. Cousin Luke still leads the way. Runner-up in the championship last year. He does not want to be beaten again, so he is absolutely charging, no question, and more importantly, he is banking points. Patrick O'Donovan trying to keep his championship hopes alive here. Second he runs, but he's a long way back. Yes, he's managed to get through nearly the entire pack, but what he has not been able to do is close on the race leader. However, it is more points, and with a round to go tomorrow, if drama befalls Luke Constantine, it could play into Patrick O'Donovan's hands. Through the chicane he comes back onto the loose now, up through the gears. Now there Ben Sayer defending from Vitols, having another go to go back ahead of James Constantine. And Vitols, the Latvian, is the man really pushing hard here. He's done well in the academy class in Rally X Nordic this season as well on his occasional visits. But right now, although Patrick O'Donovan here is doing the chasing, Luke Constantine is on target for what is going to be a fourth victory of the season. There is O'Donovan, and you can see just how boggy, how muddy the infield is there. Checkered flag at the ready, and over the timing line then now comes Luke Constantine to score the race win. Patrick O'Donovan is on target for second as he's hunting for traction all the time here, but he can't bring down the gap, and so it is the win for Luke Constantine, second to Patrick O'Donovan, and James Constantine should hang on to third. Confirmation of the results then. Luke Constantine the winner from Patrick O'Donovan, James Constantine for the podium from Roberts Vitols, Ben Sayer drops to fifth, and Harry Garman in sixth. Luke Constantine then with a 3-point advantage, still heads the championship from Patrick O'Donovan. Roberts Vitols is third, it's Ben Sayer in fourth.
No, I was happy with last year. We're coming to second with my brother, but I'm not willing to come second again this year. I really want to win this year. So I had a really good start this morning, and I carried the momentum through the day, and then ended up taking a clean sweep and winning the final as well. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with that, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow.
Just went wide in Q1 and in Q2 actually. I ended up on the grass and in the gravel trap, and I was just stranded there. Couldn't do anything about it. Got a really good start, got alongside the front runners, and just managed to send it around the outside really. And I don't know why, but for some reason this track and just sending it works. So yeah, that's all I can really say.
Tristan Ovenden has already won the Super National Championship. Can he win yet another final? Ovenden fastest in Q3 and Q2, but he lost out in the opening qualifying run of the day. So the grid is formed. Tristan Ovenden lines up on pole position, unbeaten in a Super National final this year. Jarek Sukowicki lines up alongside him. Local man Guy Corner on row 1 ahead of Craig Lomax and Dave Ellis. Yellow blocks, Paige Bellaby and another local driver, Dave Ewan, out for the first time this year on the back row. The grid lights go green. Jarek Sukowicki missing from the front row, and Ovenden with all of that power on a slippery road gets the power down and blasts clear down towards Clairvaux. Two-wheel drive, mighty amounts of horsepower. In many ways it's completely the wrong car for these conditions, and yet Tristan Ovenden masters it nicely. Guy Corner second, and then Paige Bellaby already up to third from the back row of the grid. Into the chicane now, bouncing their way across the loose section. Ovenden on pure pace, you can anticipate to get away. The road is wet, it's slippy, it's muddy, but it's actually not quite so bad as it was earlier on in the day. Now the rain seems to have stopped. Ovenden can at least get some of the power down more often. He can control the pace up front, doesn't have to worry now about a time, he can just go for a race win. Remember too, you've got Super Nationals and Super 1600s all merged together, and right now Craig Lomax is the best of those within the Super 1600 class, and he's right there, look, towering over the top of the Lotus in the hands of Paige Bellaby. Down to Clairvaux they go, and the Lotus it is that just has the advantage as they come into the right-hander, into turn 1 through Clairvaux corner. Real little and large battle going on here. The Super 1600 Citroën of Craig Lomax from the second row of the grid, back up the inside through Hawthorne. Is that going to be a place gained into the chicane? Yes it is, brakes late, squeezes by. That was a really good move. Craig Lomax goes through now. Picks up the place and makes the run once again across the loose section, that back part of the circuit. Lomax with bags of understeer, heading now down towards the hairpin. Now, Paige Bellaby in the wheel tracks, but in the mud, in the spray. Is she going to be able to find a way through? The danger is, of course, that the closer you get, the less you see, so you can't sit behind waiting for your moment to attack. You've got to do it from a long way back in these conditions. It's getting a little bit brighter, but right now, Tristan Ovenden leads Guy Corner, and they're third. Craig Lomax, the best Super 1600 driver in the race too. Turns his way into Hawthorne's. Blasts his way up towards the chicane, stands on the brakes. And that right rear wheel trying to prise itself clear of the ground. Paige Bellaby, however, is falling back. Now, is this a problem? Could be visibility, could be something more sinister. Into the chicane she goes. Rather antiquated looking, but very welcome Volvo in the hands of Yellow Blocks. Adds to the variety here this weekend. The true Super National class car. And they're going through. Dave Ellis with his Suzuki Swift. Tristan Ovenden, though, is on target for yet another win. He's unbeaten this season, and you can see why. Not a wheel wrong, even in these treacherous conditions. Paige Bellaby hustles on, trying to bring down the gap against the opposition if possible, and Guy Corner in a car that he's getting better and better with every time out, presses on. From his Peugeot 206 to the Lotus Exige, Guy Corner, the man from North Allerton, local man, getting quicker and quicker, and could be a real factor in Super National next season. Another local driver, Paige Bellaby, perhaps heading for a podium finish, but having dropped quite a long way back now. Let's wait and see what pans out. Just skipping over the loose, down to the hairpin comes Guy Corner. He's close to Ovenden, but he's not going to get close enough to challenge unless the V6 Clio has a problem. Yellow Blocks, the much-travelled Belgian in the Volvo, fends off Dave Ellis. That Volvo is going to be a handful in these conditions as well, with the rear struggling for traction all the time. Ovenden's on his last lap, through goes Guy Corner. The gap is not a massive one, but it is enough to suggest that there's only going to be one winner in this Super National final. Tristan Ovenden then round Hawthorne's. Makes a glorious noise, that car, especially on a long, fast section and in the dry. all of which is rather limited at Croft today. But as he comes onto the loose once again, Ovenden is on target for victory, and there is Craig Lomax into the chicane. Tristan Ovenden down towards the hairpin, and yet again the checkered flag is going to be for him. Guy Corner is closing, but not enough, I don't think, to take advantage, because all Ovenden has to do now is just nurse it to the line. Checkered flag at the ready, and honours in the Super National final here at Croft go to Tristan Ovenden. Guy Corner takes second. It's another win for the Clio. Let's look at the race results first of all. Tristan Ovenden, the winner from Guy Corner. Craig Lomax third. Paige Bellaby third Super National, but fourth overall from Dave Ellis and Yellow Blocks.
Tris, super challenging conditions. You drive the least appropriate car in the entire paddock for those conditions. You've done well to master them today.
Yeah, it's really, it's been as bad as I've ever known it, actually. But yeah, all the work we've done for the last nearly 3 years with the car is really paid off. Yeah, we've got decent setting when it is wet. In contact in the first heat, actually, yeah, it's tapped into a spin, but luckily it ended up facing the right way. Yeah, ran across the grass, and the grass actually is the wettest bit there is. It's almost like to do with the boat. It's tricky, yeah.
And another fantastic result. You debuted this car at Lyden. You've had drive shaft problems and brake problems, and you've been a bit up and down with it. That's the nature of developing a new car. But you must be really pleased with how it's going.
Oh, massively. It's I mean, from going out this morning in the slop to this afternoon, I literally. It's from chalk to cheese. It really is. It's a good car, and I'm getting to grips with it pretty quick. Like so, brilliant car. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. So,
but you've got a super amount of experience not only in Rallycross but in autograss too, and that paid dividends.
Yeah, it paid dividends today with the wet conditions. The little Super 1600 loves this condition, so the rear wheel drives don't really stand a chance. In the final, the first run of it, I did get past them, but the red flags come out just at the wrong time. But that's the way racing goes, so we've just got to start tomorrow, and then we've wrapped the championship up in Super 1600. Yeah, all is good.
So, as far as the championship is concerned, Paige Bellaby is the best of the rest behind Tristan Ovenden. Craig Lomax slips down to third ahead of Jarek Sukavitsky and Dave Ellis. It has been another day of drama in the supercar class, and Derek Tohill, after a clutch change, is now the man to watch and see what he can do in relation to the championship leader, Julian Godfrey. Tony Bardi, though, has had a good day. So too Steve Hill, who was quickest in Q1 and Q2. Bardi, the man that topped the times in Q3. So it's a topsy-turvy day in terms of who is at the top of the times. It means that Tony Bardi is going to be on pole for the final, with Steve Hill and Julian Godfrey on row 1, Derek Tohill, Steve Mundy on row 2.
Tony, a super drive in Q3, got ahead at the start and kept your head down, set the fastest time, pole position. You must be pretty happy with that.
I'm dead chuffed with that. I got to beat that Steve Hill at last. He's been bugging me all morning. We've been watching V-boxes and drinking energy drinks and all sorts, and I took it all. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Derek, you did miss Q2, but a solid time in Q3. You're back in the game inside of the second row for the final. Not all's lost.
No, back in the game is right, Hal. So yeah, it was good to get a run. Boys done a good job. New clutch in the car, and new starter motor in it there now as well. So feel good for the final. Feel ready. Feel we can. Yeah, we're in there with a good shout. So let's wait and see.
Julian, we've just heard from your nearest title rival, Derek. Neither of you had a perfect day by any means. You're on the outside of the front row for the final. What's going to occur in the first corner from there?
It's going to be very difficult. I guess Derek's fourth on the grid, is he? He's fourth on the grid, so yeah, he could be diving up the inside, and so I don't know, really, just see how it goes off the start line, try and get a good start and get into first corner. That's what I'm going to try, but see what happens. But yeah, do as best I can.
The grid for the final then is formed. Tony Bardi on pole position, Steve Hill with him on the front row, and Julian Godfrey, the championship leader, on the outside. Derek Tohill then. Row 2 with Steve Mundy for company. Andy Grant and Simon Horton go from the back. This could be a crucial race for the outcome of the championship. As the lights go green, it's blast off. Who makes the best start then on the run down towards Clevo? On board with Hill. He does not make the best start. It's Godfrey and Tohill who pounds. Derek Tohill on the outside line. Julian Godfrey on the inside. Godfrey hangs on to it. Tohill goes wide through the gravel, back on. Does he lose a place? No. Steve Hill's got a problem though. The Mitsubishi slows right down. So Godfrey leads. Second is Tohill. Bardi mugged off the line is third. And Steve Hill, after what had been a really encouraging day, is now a spectator even before turn 2. Steve Hill out of the race, the car stranded on the inside of the circuit. Can he get going again? It's looking unlikely as Godfrey leads them down to the end of lap 1. Locks the rear, scrabbles for grip. So Julian Godfrey looking for a 4th win of the season. Blasts his way now up towards the timing line, and Derek Tohill has lost second place, look, because Tony Bardi has got ahead of him. Steve Hill has rejoined, so the road is clear, and there is Derek Tohill powering his way towards the timing line, but not second anymore, he's down in 3rd, and this means he's got a lot of work to do. Bad news for the race, bad news for the championship. So up front it's Godfrey getting away. Tony Bardi runs wide, knocks over one of the floppy markers, indeed picks it up and gets briefly stuck to the front of the car. Into the chicane he goes. So Derek Tohill is down in 3rd. What can he do about Bardi? And Steve Hill is off the road, down at the hairpin at the foot of the lap. That looks like an error rather than anything mechanical stopping him this time. Tony Bardi tries to narrow that gap to the race leader Julian Godfrey in this car, owned by Ollie O'Donovan, but run and prepped by Tony Bardi's company. Heads towards the timing line now. There is Derek Tohill down in 3rd place. And he's not really being able to bring down that gap, is he? So for the moment, Derek Tohill looks as though it's going to be the 3rd step on the podium for him in this race, and that's not great news for the championship point score, given that Godfrey leads the way. There is Julian Godfrey, the 5 times British Rallycross champion, and he's looking almost dominant right now as he comes through the chicane. You can tell that he's the race leader because the nose of the car is clean. Nobody else has such a luxury. There is Derek Tohill down in that 3rd place. Where is Bardi in relation? He's still clear. Simon Horton in the Subaru goes through this ever-improving car. And he in turn is ahead of Steve Mundy with the Fiesta, a venerable Fiesta now. It's not one of the newer cars, that's for sure, but still well driven in the right hands. Now there, look, the lead gap has come right down. Tony Bardi on the back of Julian Godfrey. Well, he's done the hard work in terms of catching, but the harder work is about to come, because how on earth does he find a way past? The visibility is going to disappear, and to get past you have to go offline where it's more slippery on the tarmac, and it's very boggy when you get to the loose. So Tony Bardi now is in this really difficult position. Derek Tohill is closing up as well in 3rd spot. What Bardi has got to do is try and force a mistake out of Julian Godfrey, but it's interesting to see the way that Godfrey's lap times are going up and how the pace is ebbing away. Is this him being cautious? Is this him with a problem? If it's a problem, that might throw the advantage back Bardi and indeed Tohill's way. Simon Horton then accelerating his way up towards the chicane. And a quick look around to see there, look, Julian Godfrey, but he is really under attack now, although Tony Bardi makes a mistake and slithers out wide. Tohill has dropped away again in turn. It's almost like every time he gets close, either he can't see or the thing overheats and he drops back. He can't stay close behind Bardi. Over the line goes Julian Godfrey. The race leader, the lap times are getting slower and slower, and the flamboyance has gone. It's almost like this is a banker drive for points, or maybe there is a problem for Julian Godfrey, because look, you can see the extra aggression, the extra vigour in the way that Tony Bardi is driving. Julian Godfrey, it's not quite a nurse home, but it's nowhere near as spectacular this, as though he's not pressing on or is unable to press on at 100%. Through the chicane goes Andy Grant a long way back. The leaders again down towards the hairpin. Julian Godfrey there gets sideways as the back skips over a little jump in the road. Bardi right on his tail now. Up towards the timing line, Tony Bardi putting in all the extra commitment, but the car moving around a little bit, and as it slides out, so he loses another length or 2 relative to Julian Godfrey, who goes down towards Clairvaux. He still leads the way. But these are almost circuit racing lines round the corners now, rather than spectacular sideways rallycross lines. Look at Bardi in contrast, understeer, oversteer, flinging the car around. Into the chicane once more, and now onto the loose. They make the run again down towards the final couple of corners. Further back, Andy Grant is still pushing hard. Good to see him in the final, good to see him going nicely. Derek Tohill is distant in that 3rd place, giving away points to this man, Julian Godfrey. It looks as though Godfrey is going to be on target to win the final here at Croft. Checkered flag at the ready, and it's going to be win number 4 of the season. Julian Godfrey hangs on to score victory. Tony Bardi right with him as they come across the line. And 3rd will go the way of Derek Tohill, but Julian Godfrey victorious.
You told me before the final that your objective wasn't to win, but it all came your way in the first corner, and thereafter it was a pretty straightforward race for you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't quite so straightforward in the car. Perfect start, no problem at all. Then on the second lap, broke the gearbox, all I had was second gear. And by the fourth lap, it was down to 3 cylinders. I think it's broken the camshaft on the engine. And I was just sitting on the limiter all the time. So I just tried to nurse it around, and luckily it made it to the finish line. No, really happy with the win there. Now I've got a 7-point lead going into the last round, which is, I think I've now got to finish third in the top 3 if Derek wins, which will win the championship. So it made it a little bit easier for tomorrow if I can get all the car out.
Tony, I know you really wanted to win after such a fantastic performance in qualifying, but a fantastic result to get such a strong result at your home circuit with not much time in the car.
Yeah, I have to be very pleased with that. Very disappointed as well, because I felt I had him, but the windscreen kept mudding up and the washers would stop. But no, if he knew this morning I was going to be second, I'd take it all day long. And Ollie's very pleased as well to see his car going well. So that's good. We got some sort of result between us.
You gained ground, lost ground, made a mistake, got overtaken, but satisfied with third as a salvation job?
No, because we could have won it with great pace. But no one really knew what was going on, and what was actually going on was that the washer pipe had fallen off. So if I got close to the car in front and we got a muddy screen with no washers, but it eventually cleared, and once I got a clear screen I could catch up huge distance, but then once I got close to the cars in front it went again, the screen. I had no vision, so in the end I just had to sit back a little and bring it home.
Simon, a difficult day for everybody, but these conditions really suit you, your driving style and your car. You look like you had a lot of fun out there.
It's been challenging driving. I've been 15 seasons at this. This is as hard as it gets out there. Long wheelbase car, really suits it. We made a bit of a wrong call in Heat 2, which sort of cost us, but made some big change over the lunch period, and in the end it worked out well for us.
So for the championship, Julian Godfrey now with a 7-point cushion. There's still one more round to go. The title is on the line.